In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build speech and language skills at home using your blocks. And I have wooden blocks here with me, but you can use any type of blocks that you have at home, whether it be wooden blocks, Duplo blocks, or the big foam blocks, or any other kind of block. It doesn't matter. You can use the same strategies, phrases, and activities to teach your child new speech and language skills. My name is Stephanie Keffer. I'm a licensed speech therapist in both California and North Carolina. I earned my master's degree from Columbia University in New York City, and now I'm an expert in early childhood speech and language development. Let me tell you one of the biggest secrets for at-home speech and language practice with your toddler. It's mostly about you. That's because we don't expect your child to repeat you every time or to learn a new word in a day. So focusing on what you're saying when you're practicing new speech and language skills at home with your toddler is a key element to successful practice. Idea number 1, choose one or just a few words that you can repeat over and over and over again as you play with your child. This strategy is effective because toddlers need tons of repetition in order to learn new words. So by choosing just a few words that you can repeat a ton of times, you're improving the odds that your child is going to learn those words that you've chosen. So if we have our blocks, we might build a tower and you can start saying on top, or maybe your child is imitating sounds and you might imitate the sound of the block going on top of the other one. So something like boom, boom. Or maybe you have the blocks all in your lap and your child's sitting across from you and they're making a request every time they want to add a block to the top of the tower. They might say more to ask for a block, more blocks, can you give me a block? Or maybe they're using gestures and they use the baby sign for more to ask for a block. Whatever it might be, they can keep requesting blocks and adding to the tower. Another word or phrase you might repeat over and over again would be something like, oh no, or uh-oh. All the blocks, they fell down. And you can use phrases like, they all fell down, with some gestures that your child might try to imitate along as they repeat a word or a phrase that you've said. Focusing on the words that we're saying and how many times we're saying them can help improve our child's odds of learning those new words. Repeating a phrase and pausing to let your little one fill in the blank is a great way to teach your child new words while you're playing. By pausing, you're letting them know that you're expecting them to do or say something to complete the phrase, whether it be a gesture today or maybe a word that they're repeating or saying on their own. And you can use any phrase that you're going to repeat over and over again as you play. We might say something like on and pause and wait for them to see if they say top. If they don't, we can say top and just continue to model it as long as we're pausing to give them the chance to say it too. So on top, on top. The important part of this activity is that we're pausing to give them a chance to fill in the blank using a word that they've heard us say previously using the same repeated phrase. Another really popular phrase that we could use would be ready, set, go. And your child might repeat the word go. They might say, oh, and leave off the gus sound. That's totally fine in the beginning. And they might also use a gesture, something like the baby sign, go. Just to demonstrate, we can use this dump truck that I'm using to hold all of my blocks. But we could say something like, ready, set, go, and push the dump truck. Oops, these are sturdy blocks to knock over our tower. And this is something you can do over and over and over again. And in fact, you need to in order to teach your child the phrase and the word that you're trying to get them to fill in the blank with. So we can build our tower up again and say, ready, set, go. Oh no, they fell down. And just keep repeating this routine play as many times as your child is interested in doing it. And you'll be surprised at how many times you can repeat your target phrase and listen to see if your child fills in the blank in a 5 to 10 minute period. Which leads us into our idea number 3. Keep doing the same thing so you can keep practicing the same words. For example, we might put the block on our head and you could make a sneezing sound and go, achoo! And watch the block fall down and roll away. Then you could say something like, oh no! And maybe your child is imitating the gesturing with their hands and they're putting their hands on their face and maybe a matching facial expression, or they saying, oh no, or maybe they say the block fell down and they're repeating a phrase. But the idea is that we're going to keep doing it over and over. Maybe the block goes on your head or your child's. It's okay. We can use the same words, sounds, and gestures no matter what. So we'll put it on our head again. Achoo! Oh no! It fell off. And then again. Achoo! Oh no, the block fell down. And you get the idea. We can keep doing it over and over and over again as long as your child is engaged and having fun. Idea number 4 is fill an empty play. Every toddler loves to dump things out and make a mess, and it can be very fun. So I just happen to have a dump truck here where I've been storing all my blocks, but you can use any sort of container, old recycling box, whatever you've got to put your blocks in. You're going to fill it up and then you're going to dump them out. And you can use the word dump. You can use a phrase, a fill in the blank phrase like we've already talked about, maybe ready, set, go. Whatever it is, doesn't matter as long as you stick to the same one. So here we go. We're going to dump out our blocks. Oh no! Whoa! Look at all of our blocks. And then the great thing about fill an empty play is that you can usually keep doing it for quite a while, and you can pick a couple of words or one word to practice for each part of the play. So when we fill it up, we might choose to say in, and we focus on that location word. In. All of our blocks are going in the truck. In. And maybe you only get, I don't know, that's like 8 blocks in our dump truck. And then your child is so excited, they're so ready to dump it out. And so we're just gonna go ahead and dump them out again. Ready, set, dump. Whoa, no, all of our blocks, we dumped them out. Let's put them back in. The blocks are going back in our truck. In. And you see that you can repeat the word that you've chosen, such as in, or maybe you pick block, or maybe you pick drop, and you drop them in. You can repeat that word so many times over and over again. And after you've repeated a single word several or many times, pause and see if your child will start saying the word on their own or attempting to say the word. It's great if they do, and it's fine if they don't. If they do, we're going to be excited, and we're going to continue saying the words ourselves. If they don't, we're also going to continue saying the words ourselves. So as you can see, it's more about what we're doing and not necessarily all about what your child is doing. Idea number 5. We're going to use our imagination. So we're going to pretend our blocks are something else. So for example, maybe we have toy animals like the sheep, and our blocks become the food and they get to eat it. Yum, yum, yum. The sheep is eating the food, and we can pretend it's whatever we want it to be. These blocks even actually have some pictures on it, so we could find one that has a picture of food, if that exists. I don't really see one, but anyways, we could see it's green, and so maybe they're having a salad. Yum, yum, yum. What a yummy salad the sheep is eating. Yum, yum. We might also pretend that our blocks are cars. So we could have a race between two blocks and we say, ready, set, go! And push them along the floor, or maybe you drive them on top of the couch or wherever you want to do that. The idea is that your blocks can become anything that you can imagine them to be and is fun for your child in play. And in that way, you can introduce and practice so many different sounds and words as you're playing with your blocks at home with your child. So to review, if you're using blocks to teach your child to talk, you might pick a gesture, word, or phrase that you can repeat over and over again. You might use fill-in-the-blank phrases. You're going to keep doing the same thing over and over so you can keep saying the same thing. Play with a fill and dump routine. And don't forget to use your imagination. And that's it for this video on using blocks to teach your child to talk. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you again soon.